Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We today we're talking about it's not about you. Um, yes, I know, right? I'm joined with my partner in crime, Paul Mohorosi, and she sets a challenge for us literally like just before the session to introduce ourselves without talking about ourselves.
Yep.
So, Paul, you start and introduce yourself talking about yourself.
Yeah. Now that it's coming to life, I'm just like, what did I get myself into? Because how can I not make me about me?
And that's the core focus of today's session.
Yes. So I am Mpho Mukhorosi, and my name means gift. And to me, I like to gift people with an ear mostly in my personal life and at work. So when I say gift people with an ear is I'm actually, I could say I'm a good listener. That's making that about myself, but hey, bear with me. I'm a good listener. When it comes to clients, I like to listen to what the client has to say, what they're going through in terms of their business, what they're struggling with in their market, and where they'd like to go based on where they are right now. I listen attentively and I collaborate with them and then offer them with solutions to help them get to where they want to be. Same with my personal life. If people consult to me, close friends, partners in crime, family, if they need an ear, I'm there. And if I have the solutions, then I give them to them. And if they don't want the solution in just an ear, then I just offer that to them. I do have a lot of ideas in mind that are created to help serve the next person. Did I get that right without making up about me?
There was a lot of eyes. And this and I think this is our biggest challenge
Mm-hmm.
as entrepreneurs, as people, as there's not enough people. So what I heard is that you're a really good listener. And from that, it's about when we're listening to people, we're hearing the challenges they're facing. And I think one of the things, so introducing myself,
Yes.
I can say I'm a mom and I'm a this and I'm a that. And, you know, at the end of the day, I believe I'm here to serve others. And that serving is in multiple different aspects. I serve my team when they need help. I serve my clients, but also I don't listen with the intent to respond. I listen
Mm.
with the intent to understand. Because if you don't understand the client's problems and you come in and say, "Hi, my name is Naline and I can give you help on LinkedIn," and then you're scaring the poopies out of people. Yes, I have to be mindful of language. But you are scaring people away when you come in automatically and start talking about yourself.
Mm.
Um, and I think that's where we're coming from in today's session. So, for those who haven't been following the session, um, it's we've been talking about we have a playbook out that you might or might not have downloaded. It's under our resources tab, but inside the playbook, one of the chapters focuses on it's not about you, and I think the big thing is, you know, when you think LinkedIn and LinkedIn content, and Paul, for you, so this is me putting it on the shoe onto the other foot. And let
Mm.
me give you context, ladies and gentlemen. Why are we doing a shoe on the other foot? We do have members in our team that love when things are all about them. Yes. And Import is one of those, and we love her for that. When it's her birthday, etc., it has to be all about her, or when there's celebration about something. So we have other people that are in a very similar situation. So at, when it comes to LinkedIn and LinkedIn content, and that comes to mind, how does that run through your brain when it says it's not about you?
So for me, if you're, for example, when I put myself in the shoes of the client who wants to speak to other clients, it's not about what my client can do in terms of they're so amazing. Um, I've won so many awards and I'm an industry expert and I've got these cool features and technology that is out of this world. And by the way, come work with me. So that for me is making it all about you and less about the client. When you're making it about the client and less about you, you take time to do your research about what your client is facing in their industry and sit with the client to understand what is it that they are struggling with in their markets and think about the value that you're going to add for your client in terms of even the content or your services. So when you are positioning yourself and creating the content, you don't create your content to market yourself, but you speak into the pain points of your client or your targeted audience. Yeah. You're on mute. It's
Sorry,
officially an event.
it's officially an official event. It's not official until someone says you're on
You're
mute,
on
right?
mute.
Okay. I'm muted because there was chaos in the outside. Um, but in terms of, I think when we positioning ourselves, when we talking, it should be more about, and as you're saying, it's the content and the structure of the content should not be um, features and benefits. Now, there's a lot of, so I come from the days of old. So there's, people going, oh my word.
Okay.
Okay. So where we actually used to send, buy three, get one free, and, you're selling more products and solutions. And people didn't really understand the solution base. And I've been in the B2B sector for, 30 years. But when it comes to that process of understanding what's the difference between then and now, sales has changed, and how you position yourself has changed. Your LinkedIn profile should be saying what it is you do to help others, not what my features and benefits are. It's what is the problems that you're solving. And I
Yes,
think
and
that's, yeah,
sorry.
sorry. Mm-mm.
Um, I think about how when I'm helping clients with updating like the about section on LinkedIn, the first one you get, like the version that they've put together themselves, is about I have 10 years experience and I can do this, I can do that, my business can do this, can do that, but none of the content includes what's in it for you in terms of working with me? How can I help you elevate as a client? So that's when we work together with the client to hone that in to make sure that the messaging is more about the client and not about my features and benefits because I want you to buy from me. Yeah.
I just see a comment from Debbie saying the last time when we did training, I was on mute as well. So, and it was a regular occurrence, but it still happens on a regular
Still
basis.
happens, Debbie.
Debbie, it just still happens, you know, and almost every single week or almost every single day, there's, until someone's on mute, I say, okay, now it's official meeting because someone
Yes,
said, someone was on mute and someone said, you're on mute.
you're on mute.
But that what's in it. So kind of moving to that next section, when
Mm.
when we're talking about the strategic side of the content, it's how do you position the content that says what's in it for them and to make that scrolling stop, as in
Yeah.
actually pause and look at your content.
So, I mean, we're all aware of this. We are all competing for the next person's attention on social media. It's crazy. Like, the next person is always coming up with the next best idea to stop people from scrolling, based on how creative the visual looks and the messaging and from what I've learned so far is what you say about the person's issues is what stops the scrolling. So people really like to feel seen and heard, and they want to relate to the content more like people just want to relate to the thing that they're seeing on the screen. And if they don't relate to what they're seeing on their screen, then they just scroll past. So for me, it's about making sure that your messaging is relatable to the people that you are wanting to speak to. So make sure that your content is creative. Yes, that is very important, but your messaging is important. You need to highlight the issues that your targeted audience is struggling with, and then how you can help them towards the end. So it's all about highlighting what the problem is and then how you come to solve it. I think for me, that's what I've learned is the best way to speak to the what's in it for me part.
Awesome. I do have a follow-up question, but if you guys have
Mhm.
any questions, please do put it into the chat. Um, we're constantly looking at the chat and we'll make sure
Yes,
that,
please.
we answer those questions as well. But it's easy to say, what's in it for them. How do we as a brand or help our clients? So it's us as a brand. I'm an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. I'm trying to get my brand out there. I'm a business. I'm in marketing, whatever that looks like. How do I shift my brain and ask the right questions? What are those questions I need to ask to shift it? What's in it for them instead of what's in it for us?
I think it's just that stop making things about you and what you offer and start thinking about how can I help? So first you need to know who is it that you want to work with or your messaging is tailored for. You always need to know that because or else you're just speaking to everybody. And once you've gotten an idea of who is it that you're speaking to, do your research about that industry or about the clients that you're targeting or the types of entrepreneurs that you want to speak to. Do your research about what is it, the latest trends in the industry, what is new in the industry, and then you can start, excuse me, jotting down um, some solutions based on what you have. So the first point for me is just always knowing who it is that you are trying to speak to, and then bring it back to, okay, how can I help them? So when you are putting together, for example, a content strategy, yes, you have amazing features. Yes, you have amazing products that help the next person. That is great. The features and benefits are awesome. But who are you selling these to and what is their need? So it's always important to know who you're talking to and what issues are they solving and how. Is it that what you have, your services or your products can help solve those problems? Yeah.
And that's a good point because it's a big mind shift from back in the day when, um, and I know I had to make this mind shift. And
Mm,
when I started using LinkedIn myself, I would make it about me, as in me and the business I was in. So, in other words, while I was in corporate before I started my own business, I got hammered. I learned, and the stories that we're telling is not stories from, you know, somebody else. These are stories from our own experiences. And when I would message someone and go, "Hi, my name is Nolene," that's on your LinkedIn profile.
uh,
Are you introducing yourself? It's like
yeah.
the person got your WhatsApp. Okay, so let's think about it. The person has your WhatsApp, they know your name, and then you say, "So, hi, it's Nolene from LadyBugz." So you're doing the same thing on LinkedIn and you're direct messaging the person and you say, "I'm from this business. This is what we do. And I believe we can help you with this and this and this. And let's set up a meeting." And you're kind of going in for the kill. Um,
Mm,
and that's when you really, and you have one chance to make a first impression. So, first impressions these days isn't when you do that first physical
handshake.
handshake, right?
Yeah.
It's no longer that physical handshake, it's that digital handshake. That digital handshake is trying to yank that person's arm right into your corner. You definitely kind of
Mm.
to the left, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
I think it's also a desperation because people feel that the market is so saturated and opportunities are limited and I need to get myself out there and. But I think that people forget that as much as everybody can do sort of like, for example, everybody can do marketing, right? But are they ladybugs and do marketing the way that you do? You need to bring that out in your messaging, in how you can communicate with people on direct messages in your content. Tell us about the what makes you special kind of thing without being too much or sounding too desperate or making it all about you, you know. Tell us what makes you special and how you add value to your clients without making it about the amazing features you have. Yeah.
and I think, and that kind of leads itself into, the next section of
Mm,
um, building that trust. Because if you're making it not about you, it means that you need to be building a brand, and that includes your personal brand. So you must remember, when you think Microsoft, you've got a person's picture in your head. When
mm,
you think Tesla, when you think Virgin, there's people behind those big brands. So what you want to do is, you cannot, as a founder, CEO, as executives in a business, it's imperative that you lead the organization, because people buy from people. I'm not buying a Coke, okay? A Coke I
yes.
can get from the Spaza shop down the road, the Super 8 from Checker, whoever. I can get
Mhm.
my Coke from anywhere. But your solution, the person has to become credible. And that does not mean, you know, saying, "This is who I am, and so I'm credible." It takes other people, and especially in today's age of AI, where
Mm,
AI answers the question before you even know that the question was asked, and they're doing their research and what they research, and then they come up with some stuff, and you're going, okay, next. So, you know, those reviews and what other people are saying about you is helping to build trust. What are the
wow.
different ways that a business can build trust when it comes to content and building their brand online?
I think. you can help me with this, but there are a lot of ways, including reviews. So if you've collaborated with people, it's so important that you ask them to give you a review. What's great about LinkedIn is that people can even recommend you. There is a recommendation section on your personal profile that people can leave for you, and you can also, give back by giving other people recommendations because people, I know for me, before I buy something or before I try a new restaurant, I Google it first and I go straight to the reviews. And if 80% of the reviews are good, then I'm going. But if it's like the opposite, I'm definitely scratching that restaurant off my list. So it's the same with your brand, your business. You need to make sure that you're credible by having good reviews. Ask people around you, even family and friends can like do that for you. Add reviews, add recommendations, and don't be shy about putting those up on your website too, so that it gets picked up and also on your LinkedIn profile. And I know we're not supposed to make things about us, but I've also seen that some testimonials that are posted as content on LinkedIn do very well. So if you've got testimonials that clients have given about your brand, post those too on your content so that people can see that, oh, they've done some work and they are credible and we can work with them. So it adds to the layer of building trust so that more people, potential clients are at ease with starting to work with you because we all need reference before we commit to something. So I think for me, yeah, that's the root of like building trust. I don't know about you, Nanian.
Yeah, and building trust takes time. So
Mm,
you can't expect an agency or expect yourself to post for a month and go, oh, this thing doesn't work. I mean, I've heard this 150 times.
yeah.
So, you know, if your sales cycle, so think about it, you are in business to business and your sales cycle takes anything from 6 months to 24 months, sometimes 36 months, depending if it's tender or you're waiting for an existing contract to expire, et cetera, because now you're bringing in a system or something like that. So I was in that space. And you need to then realize that it also takes that much time sometimes to build your credibility in the space. Now,
Mm,
Google does not automatically index you. I've built my website. They will come. Okay. No, they won't. Okay. Gone are the days where you put up a website or you put up your LinkedIn profile and people will find you.
like
Okay.
spray and pray.
Exactly. There's a little uh, thing in the background that most people don't understand is there's this algorithm that actually creates, from a LinkedIn perspective, if you're consistent, this is
Mm,
what's building the trust. Okay. So consistency means that you're checking your social selling score. And that's, a whole other separate conversation. And maybe someone can just put the link for the social selling score in there. Or I'll do it after I've used my hands. But um, there's tiers to that, and there's 4 tiers. It's how you've set your LinkedIn profile up. Have you been endorsed for your skills? Have you, thank you, Paul. Have you um, posted recently? Have you been networking and connected with people? And it's a constant check. So, in other words, just because you're good today does not mean next week you're going to be the same if you weren't active. So,
mm,
it's the same with Google, same with LinkedIn. So if you look at your activity on your website and everything else, and people say, "Yeah, you should be posting articles regularly, et cetera, and on all your socials. Google Business Profile also comes into that. And Google Business Profile helps with your SEO. You're already
Mm,
doing content. You might as well make sure that you change up the content a bit and you post on your Google Business Profile. You add change up the article that you've just posted as a newsletter on LinkedIn. You change it up and you add it as an article on your website. You have to keep up with this. Why? If your website is stagnant, Google says your website sucks and it goes down. Unless you're paying for sponsored content, and that's really expensive. I mean, I was approached by one of someone we use. I do a lot of collaborations, and they've put my name forward with a client, and this particular client is running $500,000 worth of just Google ads.
mm,
Um, that's what they're spending. And you look at this and you're going, there's a lot easier ways to be able to spend that kind of money to get better attraction. And it's what we're talking about. It's that trust. It's that um, building the credibility and thought leadership. So Paul and I are not sitting here going, okay, so on LinkedIn, this is what you need to do, and this is how much it's going to cost you, and this is what we can help you with. We're giving away free insights. Like this is the playbook is free. The
yep.
we're we're all about making sure. So every encounter I have with my clients, and this is where I think is the trust and the credibility comes from, is when you have a conversation with someone, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's in person, whether it's virtual, whether whatever it is, always leave that someone with something, whatever that something is, because that's what you'll be remembered for. They might
Mm,
not be ready for your solution now, but when they're ready, they're going to be reminded of a post because you've posted. And you know how many times it's happened where I've been connected with someone, and I'm not joking, this happened a couple of months ago. Since 2011, I was connected with someone. And then when after a post, they messaged me and said, I'm so glad you posted. I'm starting my own business on the side, and I'd love, blah, blah, blah. And you don't know when that person is ready. But,
mm.
you know, building your LinkedIn presence is not about building what about me, it's about building the authentic struggles that we're having. And I
And
think,
also to add to that, Nadine, when
yeah,
you think about like search, how people search today, it's not only it's no longer just limited to Google. So if you're not posting consistently and people are using, for example, AI, sometimes AI does pick up profiles and websites, and it's amazing. So if you're not putting yourself out there and updating your website properly and, putting together articles and blogs, thought leadership, adding value in your industry, then the chances of you finding clients are slim.
and I think it goes to exactly that. And you have to be authentic. You know, you have to get to the point where you are okay to laugh at yourself, that you're okay to do mistakes, that you stop overthinking. And I mean, my, I don't know anyone in my team that overthinks at all. But, in terms of um, overthinking things, sometimes you just actually you write the post,
Mm.
double check a couple of things, and if there's a spelling error, that's okay. The grammar police will let you know. Um, you know, and but get it out there. And if the grammar police actually puts a comment there, it actually helps your post go further. Hashtag just saying. So maybe purposely do a little
Because
bit of
more
bad
comments
spelling.
means
You
the
know,
engagement is increasing.
I'm going to test that theory though. So there's a test. In these sessions, we kind of go, this is this is actually, that's a good idea
Yeah.
because then you're going to have someone that has a great network and there's a grammar police and says,
By
you
the way.
spelled spelling wrong. And I'm like, oh, it's supposed to have double L instead of one L. Thank you for highlighting that. And just because there'll be some other grammar police that says you still haven't fixed it. Yes, there is that evil laugh. But it's creating a place of engagement and
Mm.
encouragement and sharing. And I think we forget that there's people behind the profiles. It's your
Yes.
personal professional profile. So whether you're in a business and you're building your credibility and you're in the sales role and you're trying to make sales, you still have a voice. You still have to be credible as a salesperson alongside the business. So your marketing department is working so hard, creating amazing content. And there you are as the salesperson going, "Well, marketing is not giving me leads." Meantime, you're not
Mm.
engaging on the marketing content. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And with that, I know that some people would say posting on LinkedIn is just so intimidating and I don't know what to post and what if people don't engage with my content and I would just say just start with engaging with the post from your company page. Start there if you don't know what to say. So you have an option of resharing with a comment because you know what your company does and you're in it. Just reshare the post that you see with a comment and add your thoughts to that. So start there so that people that are connected with you can see that, well, you're an actual person and you actually work there at the company that you've listed in your profile, you know. So start there and start leaving comments under other people's posts, you know. So start there and then after you've built up some courage, you don't always have to have like an amazing picture and a caption. You can even post words if you have an experience this morning and someone spilled coffee on your way at the office or something that sparks creativity in you regarding the work that you do, just post it like, hey, today I had a bright idea about how important it is to, share content, something that is related to your market. Just do something. Don't just sit there and not post. You have to say something. You have to.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes we're intimidated within organizations, been there, done that, that
Mm,
you feel you don't have a voice. Whereas LinkedIn, you can build your own voice and build that credibility and build a trusted name. So whether you stay with the same organization, whether you're running your own business or you're looking for a job, you still need to be posting and creating a LinkedIn profile that talks about your thought leadership. And it's not about you. It's about
mhm.
what's happening in the industry. It's sometimes it is about me, but I'm giving. So I'll share screen now. So I have a newsletter and called Creative Connector on my LinkedIn, and a lot of the time it's about me and my struggles and
Yes.
how as a leader I've learned. So I'm sharing my experience. I'm not making it about me, but I'm making it relatable. So the content should be relatable to the people. So I'll share screen. So I was told earlier that, oh, by the way, this is what's going to, I'm like, okay, uh, I'll do so. Okay, so can you see the screen?
Yes.
Awesome. So this is my newsletter that's linked directly to my personal profile, which is all about me. I love it. But I'm talking about things that happen. It could be um, objection handling and how I've had people nag me um, just 2 weeks ago, sorry if you're listening to this and you registered for this, just saying, I won't mention the
Sorry.
person's name, connected with me and then sent a message saying, um, this business, this business will really give you great opportunities. It was just a short little sentence. Um, would you like to hear more about it? So I'm going, oh, this is network marketing or something. So I'm like,
Mm.
oh, thank you. Then his next message was, um, but LinkedIn can really give you great business. And I was like,
Well,
dude, seriously? Like,
you
serious?
done your research? Have
I,
you
I,
actually?
like, so I just said his name. Like, not even how. I was like, I can be very blunt. So
Mm.
I said his name. I said, did you even have a look at my LinkedIn profile or my website to see that this is what you offering me what I do? So you want me to pay you to do what I'm doing and offering my clients? Just asking
Ah,
for a friend, like, you know, just asking. So I talk about those kinds of things where it's an actual story. So, flyers, we try and show them things that are, when I see um, the latest Karate Kid movie and I watched it and realized some of the how why sales and marketing should work together. So it's those kinds of that kind of content. And I want to go down because I was told I need to do more of the other stuff. So I procrastinate.
guilty.
I'm guilty, you know, and how empathy can be a superpower. One of my favorites, keeping all your
Yes.
ducks in a row, because you know, this is a picture that I took of geese in a house that we were renting before we bought when we moved down here to Port Shepstone. Um, there was a little stream running through, and there were these not ducks, it's Egyptian geese, and they had babies and trying to keep them safe from my dogs trying to eat them. And oh my hats, the stories along that it's hilarious. Um, and then so I'm a collaborator. I bring people together. I listen really well. Have so this is things that I am good at, and I know that I am, but not like from a history perspective. Like, "Oh, I've got an MBA, BAC, CAP, whatever that is." It's more around the fact that I love connecting people, and I love adding value in conversations. So I was booted out of our internal meetings because I was talking way too much. So, and Paul politely asked and said, I think it was a discussion saying, I think it's time for me to kind of let you step properly into the role of operations manager and let me leave so that I'm not there and people can actually talk frankly, um,
Without the big boss in
without the
the
big
room.
boss. Plus, keep her mouth shut. And I turned that into that fear of missing out into the joy of missing out. And it took me a month or two to kind of digest it. But
Mm.
we all go through certain things. So don't be afraid to talk about um, lessons that come from every day,
Yeah.
um, and see that silver lining. And as a leader and as someone, I mean, everybody's a leader, whether you are leading your dog to water or whether you're getting everyone's in sales as well, whether you're trying to get your son to eat peas. It's selling
You're
to them,
spelling
right?
that. Yes.
You're doing a sales job. So when you're thinking of doing that, we're all leading, and there's always a lesson, and we just have to be still and think about how do we share that lesson, because that's the storytelling, and you saying, this is the problem I had, and this is how I'm trying to solve it. But hey, maybe you've got some ideas. Help, and that's okay to ask for help. And I think we don't ask for help enough.
No, and I love the theme that you have with your newsletters. It's obviously adding value about what you see in the marketing space, but you also are incredibly vulnerable in terms of your real experiences. This is not me buttering you up for a bonus. I'm just saying that you really do that well. It's like being authentic. I think it's the one thing, one of the many things that I've learned is like being authentic and real. No one is perfect, so don't try to portray yourself as a perfect person. Even with your content, it needs to be authentic and come out as who you really are. So today we do have AI to help us with content creation, and it can give us these amazing ideas on the topics that you can focus on, the types of visuals you can create, helping you with the words for articles or captions, which is great. We don't shame people for using AI. We actually encourage it because it helps you work smarter. But you always need to be you. So your voice needs to come out in the content that you do produce. Yes, you can use AI or other methods for creating content, but authenticity is so key so that people know who they are working with, who the type of person that they are about to get into business with, whether you're in sales or marketing or whichever industry that you're in, just always keeping to having your voice being seen in your content. There's no shame in sharing embarrassing stories. We all about sharing the stories, no matter how embarrassing you think they are.
And
Just
and
put it
that's
out there.
100% because somebody else has done the same thing. I
Hmm.
mean, in our branding boot camp, we were sharing about how AI failed us, and stories around. So if you missed it, it's on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Um, but when you are coming and sitting in front of someone, you also have to switch everything else off so that you are present. So when you're creating content, you also have to have the same effect. You shouldn't be doing 10 other things while you're trying to create the content. You need to think about when you're creating that piece of content, this is for this person because this is the lesson I want to teach this person. Okay. Whatever that person is. That person, there's many of that persons in your network. You
Exactly.
are just focusing into that and saying, how can I learn? What is the lesson I have when it comes to a situation like that? When AI failed me. So there is a story and there is a recording that's, how AI failed me. And I think it's either on my personal or on our company page, but a clip on how badly AI failed me, that was, it was a written piece by me. And AI said I was 93% AI. And I was like, no, it's not. I wrote it. So
Yes,
Neo
super.
says nobody can be you better than you. That's right.
Oh, yes.
Superpower. And I sometimes want to copy paste myself because I am that superpower and I am that awesome. I'm joking. Okay. So but sometimes, there's tasks that sometimes only you can do and that you need
Yes.
to take time. So what I also suggest when you are sitting and writing that content, block out time, block out distractions, put your phone on silent
Yep.
so that the content, when it's put out, it resonates with someone. So yes, you can use AI and to start, how do you structure that particular piece of content? But then you need to put what Paul was saying is put your voice into it.
You.
So in other words, read it. You know, I saw an article or something that was, spread, and I'm sure you guys saw it in a newspaper that had a whole bunch of figures and numbers and whatever. And then at the bottom of the newspaper it said, "Do you want me to expand further on blah, 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 blah,
Oh,
about ChatGPT and Gemini and all these wonderful AI tools?" And this was published in a newspaper. So this was not just the writer, this was also the editor that didn't even read what was being put into said newspaper.
can
So,
attest to that. Been
and
there, done that.
exactly, we've all been there, done that, and it had mistakes. Uh,
Yes, exactly. But it's about bringing out the you, like Neil saying that what makes you stand out without even trying is because it can't be replicated. So as much as you want copies of yourself, Nelly, there will always be just you, and no one can do what you do better than you do. So that needs to come out.
100%. I don't think the world could handle another me, also, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Um, so we're getting to some of the fun questions. If you still have a question, please do. I can't believe how quickly time is flying. We have another 10 odd minutes. Um, and Paul, what's for you more intimidating? Posting a video or posting an opinion?
Um, but can I say both? Both because so after events in the team we do snips. So we take the full recording, we chop it up into nice thought leadership chunks that can go onto my personal profile. And when I get the snippets from the team to review, I'm just like, so I trust what you've done. Just go ahead. I'm not going to rewatch myself. Just go ahead and post because I, I don't know. There's just something about listening to myself or watching myself speak. That's just like, okay, no, just go ahead. Same with an opinion. I do have opinions, of course, like everybody else does. I think the holdback is just like, number one, what if I'm wrong with that opinion? And what if I get like backlash? Because I've seen that on LinkedIn, like people can comment and say, yeah, well, or like leave snotty comments. And I have a fragile heart, so I don't
And
know
I
if I
think that's
can
where we have
take
to build
snotty comments.
resilience. Yeah, you have to build that resilience that you're not everybody's cup of tea. Uh,
No.
and, you know, the great thing is you can always delete it if you really feel that's so before. I mean, a few years ago, once that comment was out there, you couldn't delete it. LinkedIn
Oh
didn't allow.
no.
There was that you can't delete, you can't edit, ASCIIs, it's
Online
out.
forever.
Yes. Now at least you can go and edit the spelling mistake. Um, whatever that looks like. Because sometimes we press enter when we want to press space, and so you
Yes.
quickly those kinds of things. But
Yeah.
I was the same where in the beginning when I was doing videos, I literally, and Paul would say, I need you. So, from a strategy perspective, this is what I need you to do, and you need to talk about this and record a video doing that. Now we're in lockdown, okay? So, there's no ways that someone else can come and do this and, walk me through this.
Yes.
So, I'm like, uh, do the video a few times, and I like, okay, it's done. I send it. I'm like, you do with it what you need to. I'm not even looking at it because you know that it's really difficult. But it's that authenticity. It's that's what's building trust. But it's also from a strategy perspective, and it's going back to that it's not about you. Yes, you're doing the video, but I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about a specific situation. I'm talking about um, how do you post this? How do you do that? How do you, what are the pitfalls? So if you're in um, technology and you're offering some sort of a technology service, it's what are the pitfalls that you need to look for when you're choosing a provider?
Mm.
Because here's the thing, it's not about you then. You're talking about others. So I recently started conversations with a new provider, a new client, because of a article that we posted on our website that's not about us, that it's about comparing us to others and saying, these guys are great at this, these guys are great at that, these guys are great at this. And oh, by the way, this is what LadyBugz is great at. She loved that so much that she messaged me. And because I responded so quickly, and we actually just had a great connection and a great call, and it she's not even looking at anybody else because AI said LadyBugz knows what they're doing, not
Yes.
us. And what you have to do is stop worrying your IP. I mean, I was speaking to a salesperson. I taught them, okay, how to use LinkedIn. Then when we were doing another coaching session, he says, I don't want to share my IP with you on how to use LinkedIn. I'm like, dude, I taught you how to use LinkedIn.
Okay.
Your IP doesn't stay your IP. There's a world of information out there. The more you share and answer the questions that people are asking on Google, and it automatically gives an AI answer, the more
Mm,
you are answering well in that section, the better you are to be seen. And
yes.
it picks up LinkedIn, it picks up your website, it picks up all those articles, and it goes through all the information. So if you've got a 45-minute video and you're expecting, or an hour webinar and you're expecting great results, AI doesn't have the time to listen to your whole video. So you're going to still need to break it down. There's a song in that, just saying. But you don't want me to sing, I promise. So let me go. I'm just making sure that there's no other questions. What's the
No,
one thing people overcomplicate about LinkedIn content?
that it needs to be perfect because LinkedIn is a professional platform. Your content does not need to be perfect because like prim and proper because oh no, it's LinkedIn. LinkedIn is professional. No, like we've been saying throughout this session, just keep it authentic. Don't overthink it. Keep it authentic and just click the publish button without. If it helps, I do that all the time. If I'm posting something, I just close LinkedIn and then I'll go back to LinkedIn after a few hours so that I don't relook at what I posted or, oh my goodness, did someone bash me or whatever. But ultimately, just keep it authentic. It does not have to be perfect. Yeah.
And I think that's true. I think there's that aspect that you're sitting in a reception area and we all have a mobile and
Mm,
you're busy scrolling. Um, and most people I speak to, sponsored content, promoted content, that kind of stuff, we all scroll past because we don't trust it because it's being paid for, right?
mm,
It's that psychology. Now, if you are posting something and it's your viewpoint, so what I've started doing is seeing a relevant article that's been published today or yesterday, and then I have it on in the background behind me, and then a link in the comments, and I give my personal view about it. Now, I did one last week where um, Kenya has released some stats that people are getting their news from social media more than they are from TV.
Oh.
So, what news are you telling everybody about the industry that you're in? Hashtag just saying.
Mm. You're missing out.
You are missing out. So, with 5 minutes to go, any last kind of words of wisdom in Paul?
Wisdom is such a big word, but oh, there's a comment before. In a curated world where perfection is starting to feel like background noise, it is the raw, unfiltered moments that actually land because relatability always hits harder than polish. Yes, yes, that is true. Those are my last words from Neo, sponsored by
Ah,
Neo.
Neo gave it to you. So, I was I updated one of South Africa's comedian LinkedIn profiles recently. Um, and I gave him a piece of FOMO because I said, well, Barry Hilton is on LinkedIn, and
Mhm.
there's a whole bunch of funny people posting lots of funny videos around corporate and workspace. So if you're
Yeah.
not following corporate Natalie, follow, search and follow corporate Natalie. I
I mean,
found
even
another
LinkedIn
they're on
posts.
LinkedIn, and Ryan Reynolds even posts on LinkedIn. So
Yeah.
listen, bloopers are hilarious. We love bloopers. So, we will watch we'll watch all those credits to see how many times Jackie Chan actually missed the mark and he fell on
Well,
his butt, or
yes.
something happened, or I don't know what the words are, or whatever, I will actually go onto YouTube and go try and find the blooper reels
Bloopers.
of a funny movie or one of those movies, especially when it comes to, The Rock and Ryan Reynolds, because I mean that's hilarious.
Yes.
Um, so be authentic, bring in the fun. There was a I'll leave my kind of remark. I commented on his, so you have to go and stalk me to find out who I'm talking about. I commented on his post. I connected with him and said, some of your content is really hilarious. And it's tongue in cheek South African, like Nando's skirts
Yeah,
on, and you will stop when it's a Nando's advert, right?
of
So
course.
gone are the days with that polished, where that BMW line follows the curves of the body. People don't care. They want something that actually makes people stop. So that authentic content, something that makes them smile. This engineering and water treatment plants and things like that. That's a very, 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 very boring topic.
There
Okay,
is.
like very, 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 very. So he created some content and he's got a sense of humor and brings the content and the cabinets literally alive that he creates. So that's what I'm going to say, because otherwise it's spoiler alert. Um, but yes, he it's hilarious, and I love watching how creative some people can be, and I think sometimes we box ourselves
You
in.
learn a lot from that and, do the
Yes,
same. Mm.
exactly. So that's kind of the time's up. I can't believe an hour's gone. Thank you very much for being my partner in crime and going through the session. Thank you everybody for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
It was great to have you in the session, and we will be putting this up onto our YouTube. Um, you're welcome, Nero. Thank you for
You're
joining
welcome.
us. We enjoy having these conversations because we have a lot of these conversations anyway. We were saying this before the session.
Yep.
It's now just in a public space where we're
Share it
collaborating and
with other
sharing
people.
with other
Yeah.
people the same stuff. So
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.